The Malacca Strait, one of the world's busiest shipping lanes, a vital artery for global trade connecting the Indian and Pacific Oceans. But beneath its bustling surface lies a history steeped in mystery, piracy, and tales that curdle the blood. Today, we're not just talking about any old sailor's yarn. We're diving deep into the chilling true story of the SS Ourang Medan, the ghost ship of the Malacca Strait. The story begins in June 1947, or possibly February 1948. The records are murky, which only adds to the mystery. Distress calls started crackling over the airwaves, picked up by numerous ships and listening posts in and around the Dutch East Indies, now Indonesia and British Malaya, modern-day Malaysia. The message was sent in Morse code, and it was frantic. It started with SOS from SS Ourang Medan ... We float. All officers, including captain, are dead, lying in chart room and on bridge, probably whole crew dead. This was followed by a jumble of indecipherable Morse code, and then a final bone-chilling message: I die. Silence. The calls were triangulated, placing the Ourang Medan somewhere in the Malacca Strait. The closest vessel to respond was an American merchant ship, the Silver Star. Its captain, intrigued and concerned, altered course to investigate. What the crew of the Silver Star found would become the stuff of maritime legend. As they approached the Ourang Medan, everything seemed eerily calm. The ship was silent, drifting aimlessly on the waves, showing no signs of external damage. There was no smoke, no fire, just an unnerving stillness. The captain of the Silver Star hailed the ship repeatedly, but there was no response. A boarding party was assembled. As they climbed aboard the Dutch freighter, an immediate and oppressive sense of dread washed over them. The air was unnaturally cold, despite the sweltering tropical sun. What they saw next was a scene of pure horror. The decks were littered with the bodies of the crew. Every single person was dead, but it was the way they died that was so disturbing. Their eyes were wide open, fixed in a state of terror, their faces frozen in silent screams, mouths agape and teeth bared. Their arms were outstretched, as if reaching for something, or warding off an unseen attacker. Even the ship's dog, a small terrier, was found dead, its lips pulled back in a terrifying snarl. The boarding party made their way to the bridge and the chart room, just as the SOS message had described. There, they found the bodies of the ship's officers, including the captain, in the same horrifying state. The radio operator was found slumped in his chair, his fingers still on the Morse code key, his eyes wide with a terror that transcended death itself. There were no visible injuries on any of the bodies, no wounds, no signs of a struggle. It was as if their very souls had been frightened out of them. A chill ran down the spines of the experienced sailors from the Silver Star. Something was terribly wrong. The captain decided to tow the ghost ship to the nearest port for a proper investigation. But the Ourang Medan wasn't ready to give up its secrets. As the crew of the Silver Star prepared to attach tow lines, smoke began billowing from deep within the ship's cargo hold, specifically from hold number 4. Fearing an explosion, the boarding party scrambled back to their own ship, severing the lines just in time. Moments later, a massive explosion ripped the Ourang Medan apart. The blast was so powerful, it lifted the ship out of the water before it sank beneath the waves, taking all its dead and its dark secrets to the bottom of the strait. It vanished forever. So, what happened to the crew of the Ourang Medan? This is where the story splits into a dozen different theories, each more fantastic than the last. One of the most prominent theories involves the ship's cargo. The Ourang Medan, which translates to man from Medan, was an unregistered vessel. Its name doesn't appear in any official shipping logs, including Lloyd's Shipping Register. This has led many to believe it was involved in some kind of illegal smuggling operation. The cargo in question? Highly dangerous and unstable chemicals. One suggestion is that it was carrying a combination of potassium cyanide and nitroglycerin. Leaking seawater could have reacted with the cyanide to release a toxic gas, asphyxiating the crew, while the nitroglycerin would explain the subsequent explosion. This could account for the deaths, but does it explain the looks of sheer terror on their faces? Another chemical theory points to nerve agents. Some speculate the ship was carrying leftover chemical weapons from Japan's Defense Unit 731 from World War II. The idea is that these deadly substances, stored in poorly sealed containers, leaked and caused the crew's swift and horrifying demise. This would explain the lack of physical injuries and the speed in which everyone died. Then we move into the realm of the paranormal. Could the Ourang Medan have sailed into a supernatural trap? The Malacca Strait has been a hotbed for ghost stories for centuries. Sailors have reported phantom lights, ghost ships, and eerie sounds. Did the crew of the Ourang Medan encounter something from another dimension? A malevolent entity that literally scared them to death? This theory might sound far-fetched, but it's the one that best explains the terrified expressions frozen on the victims' faces. What could be so terrifying that it leaves a whole crew dead from fright? And what about a pirate attack? The Malacca Strait has always been notorious for piracy, but this doesn't fit the evidence. There was no sign of a struggle. Nothing was reported stolen, and pirates typically don't leave a ship full of bodies without any visible injuries. They want valuables, not to create a maritime horror scene. So we can probably cross that one off the list. There's even a UFO theory. Some believe the ship was attacked by an extraterrestrial craft. Proponents of this idea suggest that an unknown energy weapon or psychological force was used on the crew, causing their hearts to stop from fear. Again, it's a wild theory, but in the absence of a concrete explanation, all possibilities remain on the table. But here's the biggest twist in the tale of the Ourang Medan. What if the entire story is just that, a story? Researchers who have tried to verify the incident have hit nothing but dead ends. As I mentioned, there's no official record of a ship named the Ourang Medan, the Silver Star. The supposed rescue ship has also been difficult to pin down in historical records for that time period. The first known print mention of the story appeared in a series of articles in a Dutch Indonesian newspaper in 1948. From there, it was picked up by other publications, including the U.S. Coast Guard's Proceedings of the Merchant Marine Council in 1952, which gave it a veneer of official credibility. Could it just be a sailor's ghost story, a cautionary tale passed down through generations that got embellished over time and eventually found its way into print? It's entirely possible. Sailors are natural storytellers, and the sea is a place where the line between reality and myth can easily blur. So, we're left with a puzzle. A ship that may or may not have existed. A crew that died in inexplicable terror. A fiery explosion that erased all evidence. The story of the SS Ourang Medan is the perfect maritime mystery. It has all the elements. A ghost ship, a gruesome discovery, a secret cargo, and a cataclysmic ending. Whether it's a true account of a tragic accident, a paranormal event, or simply a masterful piece of sea lore, the legend of the Ourang Medan continues to haunt the waters of the Malacca Strait. It serves as a chilling reminder that even in our modern world of satellite tracking and instant communication, the ocean can still hold deep, dark secrets that it may never give up. What do you think happened? Was it poison gas, a supernatural force, or just an elaborate hoax? Drop your theories in the comments below. I'd love to read what you all think about this enduring mystery. And if you're fascinated by strange and unsolved stories like this one, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next deep dive into the unknown. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.